So welcome to this moment in our life and in the life of humanity. Such a momentous time, really. So I'm going to light a candle before we start, and then we will set space. At other times, or if you have a candle that you have with you, feel free to light it for its participation and also capturing what it is we're about. So we're gathered here together for purpose. We come, each of us individually, motivated by some inner calling. We may understand, we may not understand, but we knew we must answer. So today we stand in this circle, those that are here in body, those who are here by intention. We are standing united, recognizing that we are beings of light. We are from the stars. We are from a divine home that is all good. In this moment, we claim that direct energy, connection, and flow of life force from our home, from the stars, that it comes securely into our physical body suits, into this circle, and into the core of Mother Earth, Gaia. Energy from home radiating to us, through us, rippling to connect all life forms on the planet. And the songs, the harmonies, the frequencies within that life force is of all good, all power, all knowing, everywhere present. And we embody suits that are physical, that move us around in this journey of life. That energy of home, we watch it moving down the midline of our bodysuits directly into Gaia, into the field of intelligence we call Mother Earth. And we affirm our original purpose to her, to safeguard her as we do the cleaning, clearing, healing work our divine families needed in order to remove the energies that had invaded our families. Removing frequencies, songs of fear, violence, control, not enough, insufficient, weakness, hopelessness, all lies. We shine the light of our divine truth, and we name those energies lies to be made extinct in the power of our truth. That is the presence of our circle today. From the rootedness within Gaia, the power to speak with authority of Sophia, the tender healing power of the heart of grace. Because we in female bodies and our star family members in male bodies are placed in that live stream of truth, and we intend and hold and declare. We free ourselves from our crippledness, the beings of light in male bodysuits, from all that has entrapped them, and that in this moment we declare sovereignty and freedom and restoration to all good. We call for the vibrational support, all the elements of Mother Earth restored to their truths, all the directions that hold us in place restored to their truths, our ancestral mothers and fathers restored to their truths. And we claim this is a pivotal moment to end, remove, and bring extinction to all frequencies that have, are, or would enslave, dominate, and create violence. That is our intent. This is our space, our bodies, our lives, our homes, our earth, and our divinity. We are blessed. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go around in the same fashion we did it before, because it's faster that way. What are the values that you want this circle, this field, to activate, because this is a field of good. It has all qualities, but what do you want to have called forth during the 7-day event, which would be the same values you want for the planet, for the world, for the country, for your family, etc. So I'm going to go around, and if we come to you and you're not quite ready to speak 1 or 2 values, just pass and we'll come back to you. So the values that I want is good, divine good for all life. That's not just one word, and I think it's a value, but anyway, divine good for all life. Deborah Mangus.
I think that sort of covered it. I guess there was a word that came in and out, but compassion for one, and then I'll come around again.
Okay, thank you. Who do you want to pass to, Deb?
I will pass to the other Deborah Levine.
Thank you. The word that comes to mind is peacemaking.
And
I have to, I'm sorry. All right, let's pass it on to Marielle.
We'll bring in moderation in the way of communicating with the world, and solidarity. And I will to Tara.
Okay.
I bring in wisdom and clarity. And I'll pass. Let's see. David, you're still there. Great.
I want to be a pillar of love and tenderness. And I want to bring in the higher good in myself and in everyone I meet. And I'll pass to Janelle again.
Hi. So I'm going to call in integrity and cooperation. And Ashani.
Something that's coming through in this moment is, it's not just one word, but so I don't know what word speaks to it, but maintaining the ability to maintain our higher perspective while also maintaining humility and the ability to empathize and genuinely connect with one another in each person's experience. I think there's someone that I can't see on my screen.
I think Arlie hasn't gone yet. That's right. You're right. Arlie's.
Okay.
I would like to bring in heart-to-heart connection and understanding. And that's all of us.
Mm-hmm. Ashtani. So the qualities that we have put into this circle, the values that we would say, the rippling from this circle, we want out into the world and blessing the world to align to, is the divine good for all life, compassion, love and tenderness, peacemaking, solidarity, wisdom and clarity, genuine, empathy, integrity, good mind for our highest good, and our heart to heart connection, and cooperation. So if all of that is something you can say yes to, just thumbs up. Anybody want to change or add? Thumbs down, thumbs up. And that is a set of values for this whole 7 days and beyond. Okay. So now here is a sentence. I'm going to give you the sentence. If you have a piece of paper and pen, you could write it down. It's for you to complete, to think about, because we have created and called forth in this field. This is a field of energy that has never been before. And it is what it is because you are here. And it is what it is even beyond that because we have consciously asked for certain songs to be sung. So this is a field of energy like never before. What is your presence in that field? I am a presence of. I am a presence of. And you can use as many words as you want. You can add to it later, of course. But I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes and I'll watch the time. Because this is where you consciously, in this moment, think of all that you've done, all that you've released, all you've gained. And right now, I am a presence of. Okay? So here we are. In this physical bodysuit, we have what we call a brain neurological system. And those things that we want as foundational in our brain that become automatic and body memory, etc., are filed there through various movement processes. And I'm speaking to the choir, and I don't want you to think I'm speaking down to you. So as children, when babies are born, actually, the brains are not organized. They don't have lots of information in there. The information from the soul doesn't come into the brain. It comes a different way, which we won't talk about that right now. But so what happens to the brain is as the baby looks, feels, experiences what's around them, stories begin to be made up and the brain starts to organize around, this is how life is, this is how things are done, this is how I'll be safe, this is how I get my needs met, etc. But it happens through movement, eye movement, hand, feet movement. Here is, in this moment, we are choosing to be a conscious presence of. And we're going to anchor it into our brain and begin that process in our brain with what is called the Cook's hookup. And it's from educational kinesiology. It's a very simple process, but I think it's really important to understand that when you choose this direction, a direction you may have previously gone may already be programmed in your brain and be pulling at you. Let's just eliminate as much of that as possible and get ourselves aligned to who and what we are right here and right now. We're going to do that with the Cook's hookup. So the way you do that is you each of you in your own quiet, you can speak out loud because you're on mute, or you can say inwardly, read your statement. I am a presence of. And once you have finished that, I'll tell you the next step of the cook's hookup. So with cook's hookup, you're going to take your hands this way. You see how I crossed them over? Interlace the fingers, roll up under your chin. Cross your ankles, and you can do this laying down, sitting, not standing. That would be hard to do, crossing your ankles. Place your tongue at the roof of your mouth. Just draw to memory that statement, and with that statement in mind, roll your eyes 12 circles clockwise, 12 circles counterclockwise, saying to the right hemisphere, get it anchored, saying to the left hemisphere, get it anchored. Take a breath and let that breath move the energy down the midline of your body, waking up your evolutionary chakras, right down to the feet. Energy into Gaia, saying to Gaia, this is my stand. I am a presence of. Now you're a presence of, and this is something I would suggest anyway, that you might want to do it daily until we meet again, which will be on Monday. There are some changes, stories we write that can be very quickly integrated into our energy system because we don't have any much contrary to that. Like I can manifest parking places lickety split, but how many lifetimes did I have to worry about parking places or being hurt at parking places, etc.? You see, so things where I don't have a lot of constructs in my system can come into alignment quickly. But when it's something new and maybe expansive, brain balance is a good thing to do a little bit more often. So here's the next thing we need to decide, and and I want you to decide for yourself. I am on a team committed to what's the end result. Or my greater team and I are committed to what's the end result. And it can be whatever in this moment you want it to be. It could be, ending and eliminating all the weapons everybody has, making them all dead, extinct. It might be that. Or it might be something to do with the environment. It might do something with domestic violence. I don't know what it will be. I am part of a greater team committed to what's your end result. Now, here you go again. I want you to think or read through that statement. And you know mine. Mine is, I am part of a greater team committed to the end result of domination in all forms, frequencies, concepts, and more are made extinct. So that's mine. Cooks hook up, cross your hands under your chin, cross your ankles, tongue to the roof of your mouth, eyes 12 times counterclockwise, that's left brain, clockwise 12 times right brain. I should say hemispheres. Thank you. So you may have guessed that this is kind of a working time. It's not just sitting in quiet and hoping time, which is valuable and powerful, but that's not what we're going to be doing only. This is working time. And the first place to start always is, where are you? What are you foundationed on? Who are you connected to? And what's the end result you want? Because it's in that place where you move yourself to a new state of consciousness. Einstein says we can't solve problems with the same stories or the same consciousness that created them. And we want to solve problems. We want problems ended. And so we're setting a new state of consciousness called to that by what's going on in the world. So how many of you, and I just have a few things here, and this again, I've got some Indian sage, and I've got some feathers of all kinds because I love feathers, and I've got all different kinds of crystal stones and regular stones and pine cones, and you have these in your house. I know you have things like that in your house. And so my question to you, as well as some beautiful artwork made by friends, do you see the value of finding things around you and creating a space that says, this space radiates me and I radiate it, and I've got this additional partner called an altar that will be broadcasting, expanding, and opening new doors. And if you see the value of that, if you know the value of that, between now and the time we meet on Monday, create an altar in whatever way you can. Okay? And be creative. So now what I want to do is open up the field and a section of the field for any situations, forms, behaviors, words that you sense is not in alignment to the values we just set. Anything that you see out there in the world, that you've heard about out there in the world, name it into this space in our field, and I'm just going to call it the black box, for lack of a better word, where those situations are identified, they are captured, they are freeze frame them. We name you. You don't have to escalate. You don't get to escalate. We name you. We're just going to open the field, and we're going to have quiet space until someone says, I'm putting X, and you're in some circles we just put by number. In this circle, I'm suggesting that this is where we can say what's heavy on our heart. And it might be in our family, it might be in our country, it might be in the world, it might be in our community. And just one by one, name what you want to have stopped. Don't get worse. We're not blaming anything. We're just saying, no, no more. Stop, freeze, freeze, freeze it for now. Do you understand? Is there anyone who doesn't understand what I'm saying? So that means you'll have to watch for each other. When you're ready to speak, just unmute yourself and people will see that you're unmuted. And Deborah's, for some reason, offline in that regard. So if you can also put it into the chat and it can be spoken by someone else, okay? So what I'm going to put into the circle, the first thing I'm going to put in the circle is what I just said. Escalation by Hamas, which is also including their current actions, putting that into that black box. And
I want to place the entire war, Middle East war, into the black box.
I want to place my brother's hatred and violence in his heart into the black box.
I would like to place the abuse of children into the box.
I would like to place war and terrorism into the box.
I would like to place violence, ignorance, and dehumanizing of self and others into that box, that black box.
I'll put mental illness.
I'll put belief in illusions in the black box.
I'm going to put the corruption of family courts in the United States in the black box.
I'd like to put all collective generational trauma in the black box.
I'd like to put love of power in the black box.
Yeah, on that note, I would like to put greed.
I'd like to add corruption to the black box.
To put in the black box the lie that greater weapons of war bring peace. Would like them all immediately deactivated.
I'd like to put poisons of all kinds in the air, the water, the soil, the minds, the hearts, into the black box.
I want to put control through economic not diversity, Just control through economic disparity, I guess is the word.
I'd like to put illness and disease in the black box.
I'd like to put worthlessness in the black box.
I'd like to put the overlords in the black.
I call them outsiders, got what, and know exactly what we know exactly what you're talking about, David.
Yes.
I'd like to put confusion, distortion, and amnesia from our highest and truest, most authentic nature in the black box.
This black box is one that will hold, contain, identify, neutralize those vibrational energies. If you want to do a little ritual at home, you could take a piece of paper, any size. This is a little bit big, but you could take a piece of paper, write on that piece of paper, fold it into small pieces, and put it in an ice cube tray with water and freeze it, similar to a black box. Just another ritual saying no, I'm in charge, and my world will not have those vibrations in it. So I'm putting all of these into this black box, naming it, not aloud, turning it over to beings in worlds beyond to say, these must be removed. We don't have to worry about the process. They cannot remain, and they have to be moved from all time, space, regions, dimension, lifetimes, galaxy, worlds, Laniakea, and beyond. There. So I want to introduce this right now. We are all here in bodysuits because we are not the bodysuit. We are in bodysuits, and I know you know that. And we are not here by accident, and we're not at this time by accident, and we're not in this life doing these things by accident. There are those of our star families who are also in bodysuits, not by accident, also by choice. All of these choices we've probably, most of us have forgotten that we made. And those situations that we contracted to do unfold, and we walk through them, and thank goodness we have each other and those in our lives to help march us through that. There are those currently on the planet today, and have been for many years, and that looks like they are being kicked out of their bodysuit violently, and they are being kicked out of their bodysuit violently. I suggest that it is our ability and responsibility to bless that soul's easy transition. That healing be done on whatever preceded it, whatever they brought into their life to accomplish whatever, a quote, negative karma, patterns, trauma. They do not take that with them. In the TAG system of healing and education, and we call it the 11th hour, there are things that we intend to heal early on that don't get healed. There's things that we intended a soul to heal later on, maybe don't get healed. But by agreement with the higher self, those energies of trauma, violence, sadness, torture, etc., can be healed by the blessing of others. And that's what I suggest we do for just this next moment or two. You've seen the pictures in the news. You could call to mind pictures of the news in Ukraine, the earthquakes, the floods. There are individuals who have been leaving bodysuits besides leaving their homes, then their bodysuits. So in whatever way you choose, because you all have gifts and abilities, take these next 2 or 3 minutes to bless those souls leaving, that all of the karma, negative, disruption, toxins, etc., that this life and this planet had them experience is blessed into light. And turn to those that have been left behind here on the planet, those, the loved ones that have been left behind, and speak of their blessing, releasing that new come out of this tragedy. A group, we have a circle, we have an intentional circle. Individuals who by intention have claimed their space to stand, who have claimed clarity of an end result, and not only that, have claimed connection to a greater team, who knows how. That's what you've done. How do you do what you want to do? How do you accomplish what you want to see accomplished? You don't know. I guarantee you don't know. But there are those who do. And those who do know when is the best time to tell you the next step. And it might not be tomorrow because you think it needs to be done tomorrow. But they know. You also have a touch point because you've claimed presence, you've claimed group, you've claimed outcome, you've claimed team. So an idea comes to you. It might come to you on the inner plane. It might come to you through spoken by someone else. You may want to, for this next 7-day event, check the idea out. That idea is a field of intelligence. Are you of the light of my work? This is your work right now. Are you of that energy? If it is not, because we do have tweakers, we do have overlords, we do have outsiders still floating around trying to divert so they can stay in control. So, you know, an idea may look really great, but it will just divert you. You can be diverted, or you can, in this moment, say to the idea, great idea. Intelligence is an idea. It has an intelligence. Are you of my light? 3 times. Are you of my light? Listen for an answer. Are you of my light? Listen for the answer. It's just protocol. It's not that you do not trust the voice. If it is not of your light, it will say very clearly no, and don't mess with me. Or it might say absolutely not, and I don't want you to take that, you know, it might pretend that it's got more power than you, but it could clearly say no, of course not, 3 times. Do you keep it? Of course not. We are here with integrity to what? To our values and to our presence. If it's clearly no, 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 then you say PTO, which is a team that exactly knows how to identify frequencies, not a person. It's not about a person. It's about frequencies. To remove those frequencies, unplug from you back to extinction. Not of my light. No, no, no. PTO, not of my light. Take care of the network of it. Or it could be silent. Kind of pretend. Same thing. If it is silent, or if it's wishy-washy, well, maybe. Well, I haven't thought about it. It is not of your light. Not for this work. Have PTO remove it, and they know how to do that. If the idea says, I am, 3 times, then you go like, oh, good, connected to my team. Oh, good, I'm ready. What is the next step? What are you here to say to me? Then you can embrace. We want to be the presence on the planet at this moment of time, as powerfully, as clearly, as anchored as we possibly can be, working with laws, universal purpose, earth mission. We do not need to be diverted. We do not need to have all kinds of make-up stuff around us and get involved with the conflict. So that's what you can do. Now, the next thing I'm going to do for today is this. And this is an initiation that is for those in female bodies. So David, if you would hold space for us, because you are here with heart to hold our back. We've fallen down on the job, and we can't bless the world and our men unless we get this back. So thank you for being here and holding space for us with your heart. It was intended, and still is intended, that souls birthing into bodysuits that we call female were to anchor to Gaia, root with her, talk with each other. You know, we talk a lot, gather, chat, 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 come up to the base chakra and say, what would be a good design for my village? What would be a good design for my family? They were to create policy, cultures, how things worked. They were the leaders. And once they did that, then they would hold those values, which is what we're doing, hold those values so they could manifest for their community. And they could be embraced by all that was good. While those men were feeding us hard energy. Just hard energy, you see. The next step was the power to discern and say, this is good, this is not good. This will expand my family, this will destroy my family. And that's the Sophia voice of authority, and it is held at the solar plexus. So with that little bit of information, I'm just going to take us on a moderate guided journey. So I invite you all to close your eyes. Sense the energy that you are being held within. Sense that energy of your presence coloring this circle and the energies of the others coloring you. In this moment, females on the planet, we are clear. We know that in ancient times, in our maternal lineage, there were circles that were destroyed because the women were destroyed. Women were targeted, raped, burned. So we're going to stand in our clarity in this moment, and in whatever vision, imagination comes to you of a circle in your heritage, maternal line, be there in that circle and sense the sorrow in that circle of mothers and grandmothers, sisters and daughters. Sorrow is because they are discounted, targeted, harmed, crushed. Let yourself feel and be compassionate. Now very gently whisper into the circle, grandmothers, I've come to you from the future. Just whisper gently until you wake them up to your presence, my presence, the circle's presence, mothers, grandmothers, we are here from the future. We are holding that higher frequency, but we absolutely honor where they're at and can let that pain be known. I'm going to step forward for your circle and I'm going to say, grandmothers, your granddaughter here has come from the future with me to stand firmly, not just for our future time, but for you. You are absolutely correct. You, in your female body, have had your power ripped away from you, that power center unplugged. You have been made hopeless and helpless and powerless. You did not do that. It was done to you by those who manipulated your electrical system of unfoldment. You're not making this up. You have been crushed. And we are here because we have the key to restore your system. How do they feel? How does that resonate with them? The solar plexus power center, my sisters, was unplugged eons ago, eons ago, eons ago. And we are here because we have the key to plug it back in, to turn it on, and to restore full functionality to all of you. Now, have them look up. Coming toward their circle is the Sophia Collective. Spiritual women of all ages, cloaked in azure, some with beads, some with jewelry, some with scarves, some with cloaks, coming toward them with brilliance, smiles. They have preserved that key, has not been destroyed. Notice what happens as these Sophia collectives encircle these women and you. Each of you and the circle of your grandmothers, each has a Sophia sister that embraces her, dries her tears, that shields her in safety. Then the Sophia sister steps in front of you and each in the circle of ancient ones, placing third eye to third eye, forehead to forehead. There's a connection made. Hand on solar plexus. She speaks the blessing. The power of the original and evolutionary power centers in this physical body, in this vehicle, is now anchored, activated, and resonating. Just watch as that energy begins to flow down midline of the body. She puts her other hand on the sister's heart, on your heart. In this moment of time for you and those of your heritage, Sophia, power of voice and discernment is absolute in your life. And all the Sophia sisters step out back into the circle. So the circle now contains the ancient circle, you, me, and Sophia's collective. Sophia steps forward and she says to all women in the circle, draw to mind one situation, one behavior that you discerned as not in alignment to good. Just even if it was just a little bit off, draw to mind one situation. And each of the sisters do, they raise their hand as soon as they feel the vibration coming off some situation. They feel the energy. Sophia speaks and says, this is what you do when you sense any energy that feels off. You will see that in your left hand is a staff. Take that staff and put it deeply into the earth. This is my space, my home, my body, my family, my country, my world. Staff into the ground. I am not moving. I am steward here. This is mine. As I stand here, something feels vibrationally off. A possible danger, a possible disruption, disease. It doesn't matter. It isn't a frequency of light. Now in your right hand is a sword, the sword of Sophia, and you thrust that into the heavens. This is not a war sword. This is a connection sword. And you thrust that into the heavens, connected to your divine, the families beyond. put that sword into the sky and you say, not allowed in my space. Wherever this energy is coming from, it is not allowed. And you stand with Sophia. This is my space. This energy is not allowed. Until you feel the dissipation of that off sensation, it is gone, gone. And because those vibrations of control have run rampant in the male bodysuits of our star family members, in this moment, in this circle, we thrust our staff into the ground in behalf of all bodysuits of male. Say, we own these suits. These are ours. Soared into the heavens, and any energy from any source, any name that has entrapped, controlled, crippled, because they are of outsider or overlord agendas, not acceptable. Remove, not allowed. We do this in behalf of all our male bodysuits. When you're ready, if there's anything the circle needs from you there, bless it and give it. If there's any message they have for you, bring it back with you. We gather back into this circle. Take a breath, drink water if you have water handy. Something is always important when you're doing energy spiritual work. I'm just going to leave you with one story because we're going to be using this in the next 6 events. We will be doing processes, we will be doing broadcastings, we will be healing, gathering. We will not be just sitting on our hands, okay? So we all know Tesla. Tesla had decided as a young person that he wanted to bring benefit to the world, to bring benefit to mankind. And he had ideas. Now, Einstein lived at a time close to the time when the Nazis were gathering those who had innovative ideas coming into their field and were trying to recruit them into their vision of owning the world. Tesla moved to America. And ideas that would come to him would have his own criteria. He didn't say, are you of the light? He said, will this bring benefit to humanity? That was his criteria. And he is still probably the greatest genius and inventor of all time, of all written time. I think we still have some ahead of us. But this is what he said that's going to be important to what we'll be doing. He said, when I had an idea, I would take it into my imagination workshop. And in that imagination workshop, I would put the idea together, watch it work, make some fine tuning, some glitches, and try it on again, try it on again. And he said, as soon as I could see it working in that place of imagination, I would bring it out, put it into a physical blueprint, buy the materials, and put it together. And he said, I always knew it would work because I had seen it to be so. So imagination is not powerless woo-woo Pollyanna. An imagination with presence, with consciousness, with group commitment is not Pollyanna, it's powerful. So with that, as we close, what is your takeaway? What is maybe a commitment or an aha or a sharing that you would like to speak into the field? What is the takeaway you want to anchor before you leave? And we'll just popcorn and speak, and we'll hold space for the rest of us will listen. Thank you. Sounds like you have in here what you need. Of the Jewish practice, what is the term?
Tikkun olam, healing the world.
Healing the world. That says that we are all called. And we may not complete that calling. But it's a calling we can't put down. So we're all called. And in that calling, there will probably be many steps. For me right now, the calling is the step of this inner work for this time. What impact it will have may not change things the way I'd like them to be changed in my lifetime. I'm holding it well, but I may not complete. And I will not let it down. And I will not drop it down. So thank you for being here. And let's see between now and Monday where we go. So thank you so much, everyone. Blessings. And all of that which we have held in the circle is now released into the world and into the hands of teams, collectives waiting to imprint the world to absolutely heal and begin new. And so it is. Bye, loves.